Welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Ray and Pinkston. Join Dr. Pinkston today as she teaches you how an integrative approach to health, combining holistic and contemporary medical information, can lead you to the better life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Ray and Pinkston.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. I am Dr. Ray and Pinkston. And as always, toward the end of the month, I get the honor of having my good friend and peer and mentor, Ray Solano from PD Labs up in Austin, Texas, or Cedar Park, Texas, in close to the Austin area. And as always, Ray and I have some great science and information for you, how to better your life. And I'll give you my website because most of you hear this on San Antonio radio at 4 on Sundays, but we are also podcasted out to YouTube and to all of the podcast platforms as iTunes and Google Play, Spotify, all of that. And also you can hear us on the Healthy Choices Network with Ray and his group. And I'm going to make sure that is on the website. So go to drpbetterlife.com and you can look in and hear us all. And Ray, welcome in again. As always, it's great to have you on.
Well, thanks, Marianne, for having me. I think it's a great opportunity we have every month to get people updates on how to take care of their health.
Absolutely. And I know you've got some, great things. We were talking a little bit beforehand. You had some updated science now, which the integrative world has been waiting for in order to, I guess, convince the contemporary world that we know what we're talking about, because we do. And so enlighten us this morning on the new science.
Well, there's been a new study out that they have tested over 5,000 patients, and they have found that the microbiome, the good and bad bacteria that are in our GI tract, are so important for balance because of immunity and also for obesity. And they have found that there's one common ingredient that influences the good versus the bad bacteria. And we see this here over and over again. You're going to say, not surprising, but it's sugar. And sugar, and it's also fructose, can have a detrimental effect on the good bacteria in our GI. So it's really important for immunity. And also, it also influences mood as well. Yes. So I think it's really important that we know we have some really solid clinical science behind it. And it's not that it is that we think it may have an influence. Mm-hmm. Now we know it has an influence.
Right.
So hopefully this may be kind of a wake-up call, especially for children, for developing brains, developing GI tract. But this is September, and I just was reading last night in some journals that they are predicting a very, very difficult flu season because of what's been going on for the 2 years. Australia got hit very hard. That's their winter right now.
Right.
So why not take some steps? Don't close the doors but go ahead and start now.
Right.
To do whatever you can to help your body ward off all invaders.
Absolutely. And so, in talking about the microbiome, all of my patients know at clinic because I, pound it into them every day. But the microbiome is the bacterial balance in your intestine. And we have so many, I read kind of anecdotal information that there are more bacteria in our large intestine than there are cells in our body. And they're supposed to be varied and wide and, balanced. But because of stress and what we eat and what is in our food and given to us by the food industry and so many chemicals in our processed makeups and foods and things that we consume, that we have unbalanced that bacterial load. Antibiotics, pharmaceuticals, we have unbalanced that bacterial load, so we overgrow, and in fact we undergrow a lot of the good bacteria, overgrow a lot of the bad, and there's just an unbalance there that creates a difficult time for our immune system system to deal with certain foods and things that toxins that cross over into our bloodstream. And then also our intestine makes 80 to 90% of our brain chemistry. So when that intestine is down, the leaky gut or the microbiome is off, that bacterial balance is off, then we don't produce our brain chemistry. So anxiety, depression, you wonder where these things come from. Well, there you go. You're not making your brain chemistry. And so the science shows that, sugar, and we're not talking about carbohydrates. There are good carbohydrates. We are talking about sugar, the processed, refined sugars that we find in most of our foods that we, IV into our kids every day, that we, take in every time we stop at certain coffee shops and things like that. But the sugar, this is the thing that is unbalancing that act that is there. And the whole reason why we may have this flu season, Ray's talking about, this detrimental flu season or whatever, bacterial and bugs and things are out there. I think we are going to have a difficult time with flu and COVID and everything else that's coming our way. So what is the way, Ray? What is the magic wand?
I think the important thing is we practice what we call a personalized medicine. Mm-hmm. And we want people just to ask the question, are you really being cared for? Is your health professional really caring for your health?
Right.
And it's a fundamental difference in healthcare today.
Yes.
Personalized medicine. What is going on with your health that it can be changed and modified? And it's not targeted around pharmaceutical drugs. It's not targeted around specific supplementals. It's targeted upon what is causing the problem with you. I mean, you and I just talked about changing the diet and influence. If a person has a high blood sugar levels, if they are having a tremendous increase in blood pressure, and they are packing another 20 pounds, unfortunately, there's not going to be a drug that's going to fix that, but there are about 4 or 5 of them on the commercials on TV that you'll see all the time, and they cost thousands of dollars to somebody, believe me. But you know what? Why don't you change your habits, your eating habits and your lifestyle? That cost nothing.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that we practice. Make the simple changes first, and then we'll be able to help you with the others. And that sounds so simple, but it is never practiced.
It is not. It is probably one of the hardest things to do. And I think it is because we are addicted and tired. And, we are not putting ourselves first. And that has been the way of the world for how many decades now? And it's getting worse over time. And in San Antonio, it is absolutely epidemic. You mentioned an extra 20 pounds here in San Antonio. It's an extra 50, 80, 100 pounds. It is absolutely epidemic here. And it's really not that difficult. I was a part of that epidemic. I was my 300 pounds. I got control of my life really because I just wanted something different for myself. There wasn't anything magical to it. There wasn't a magic medicine. Patients come to me all the time. I've been trying to lose weight, and what have you got? What have you got to give me that I can take or do? And it's every time I have this conversation, you just have to change your lifestyle and what you're doing. And I'm here to teach people how to do that because Dr. Google, Dr. Internet is not always if you look at the internet and Google, you are looking at people who do not have your best interest at heart. They have their pockets, their deep pockets and their finances, and that is what is in their heart. Every few months, years, people come out with a new way to lose weight, a new diet, a new pill, a new book, a new supplement. And have people not understood yet that this is just the new way to make money? It's not the new, and yet we're getting fatter and fatter and fatter. It's not the new way to take care of yourself. And
technology has improved so rapidly. And there are some tests that are important, allergy tests. Take a simple blood test. You can have somebody come to your house, and it'll tell you the things that are off your chart that you didn't realize that you're eating on an everyday basis that is putting on weight on you that you didn't even realize. People wake up and they go, I didn't realize I was allergic to milk,
Right.
Or I was allergic to about 4 or 5 foods that I eat every day, and then they stop it, and then they miraculously drop 5 to 10 pounds.
Exactly.
So it's really important. You can have a we call it a metabolic code diet that strips out all these common allergenic substances.
Right.
And then you can start adding them one back a little at a time as trial and error. So these are very inexpensive ways of doing it, but they're making sure that we're targeting the individual person. Not everyone has the same allergies.
Right.
So so we start with these simple tools that you've got in your toolbox that we all do, that it's not that hard.
Right.
But unfortunately, sometimes there's not a lot of money in it, right?
Right. True. Though.
So profit is sometimes
always
driving our healthcare today.
Profit is king. Profit is king. And on, to circle back then on the allergens and the things that we're allergic to food wise, the reason that we are allergic to those foods is because of our gut. So that circles back to our initial topic, that because our, bacterial balance is unstabilized, because the gut, that's supposed to be a nice, cement channel of exit for, toxins in the body and waste, but it becomes leaky and food particles cross across that intestine into our bloodstream, and our immune system gets heightened then trying to fight all these things it's seeing. So, we have to go back to the gut and handle the gut in order to get rid of a lot of these food allergens. These foods, when they get into our system and we become allergic to them, then create a lot of inflammation. And that is why you carry those extra, 5 to 10 to 20 pounds, most of the time just in water and inflammation. That inflammation then is underlying all of the disease processes you're experiencing, from diabetes to hypertension to, heart disease to dementia. Everybody's so frightened of dementia these days, but now we know why it happens. And that was just explained to you. And so we've got a few minutes left, but going back to what you said about healthcare and are you being cared for? The answer is no. I see patients come in time after time, new patients explaining that they just left a practice where the doctor sits in front of the computer, never even looks up at them, just spends 10 minutes and is out the door. And on, the practitioner side of things, we're strapped by the insurance industry that, we are not paid well. So we have to see so many patients per hour now, but we're also strapped and have learned how to manage patients through algorithms, through cookbook recipes that, I go down a list and I'm not talking to a person. I'm talking to, do you fit A, B, C? And if you don't, then I go to the next algorithm. Do you fit that? Here's your prescription. Goodbye. And that is where the art of medicine is lost completely, where you don't look at the whole person in front of you anymore. We just, we have to bring back, that's what integrative medicine does. You and I were talking about it. That's what integrative medicine does, is it brings back the patient and the doctor speaking to each other, looking for the reasons together underneath why things are happening. How can we really work together to make your health better and try to avoid all of, it's not just pharmaceuticals. Sometimes it's just, cookbook of supplements too. How can we avoid getting into those ruts so that we, again, treat the person and not treat, the disease that they think that they have? It's a very serious situation in
and
medicine.
You mentioned one other thing is allergies. What the symptoms of something that you're allergic to? You say, well, it's just allergies.
Right.
Well, it's not normal. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. You
Yes.
don't take a antihistamine or Benadryl just to stop that allergy.
Absolutely.
But it's not normal for us to sit around and sneezing all the time. There
Right.
is a reason why we have to balance that immunity to stop those inflammatory cytokines from wherever it's coming from.
Yes.
So you don't live on antihistamines and steroids. But we hear this all the time. It's
Right.
just allergies. Well, what are you eating? And did it happen 2 hours after you ate? And why
Right.
do you have a chronic sinus infection? Well, maybe it's the foods that you're eating. So it's just the plain detective work, which you do great. And we have some very powerful ways to turn that around and really target the healthcare that makes it caring for you.
Right.
And because one size does not fit all.
No, it doesn't. But these days, I think in medicine, they're trying to lead us in that direction. So I teach a lot of nurse practitioner students. And the reason I take on nurse practitioner students is because they come out of a system where they are just taught to follow those algorithms. And with this small amount of time that I have with them, I teach them to start thinking and to start processing. Very smart people. And they need to go through a process with people about understanding why things happen rather than just learning a textbook and just running through those algorithms. It is becoming very dangerous in this country. And I have a lot of people, and again, those new patients who come to me who are very, very dissatisfied. And it's creating a lot of distrust as well between practitioners and patients. A lot of patients come to me very angry and very, having to play the self-advocate role where, I had to learn all this on my own and I'm coming to you now to, do this for me because I studied this. And I say, no, I'm here to protect you from that. This is really what's going on. They're like, no, I've been told different. I read different. And it creates a place where a patient and I can't, communicate anymore. There's no trust. And I think that is a place where we are going to get into trouble down the road, taking care of patients. And, Ray, we only have 2 minutes before we hit the break, and then you and I are going to come back on the other side and talk. I want you to give them some information, give everybody some information about where to find you, where to find Metabolic Code that we've talked about so many times, and up in Cedar Park.
It's very simple. Give us check out our website, pdlabsrx.com. That's pdlabsrx.com. And our phone number is 512-219-0724. And option 2, you can get to any live person, believe it or not.
A live person.
And it can lead you to the correct pathways. And, we'll tell you more about the Metabolic Code diet, Metabolic Code program. That's really important. It gets to the root cause of what's going on with you and a path forward. And we have developed a brand new center called the Laval Performance Health Center that you are the medical director for.
Yes.
That really puts all this together with a pharmacy, physicians, trained clinical pharmacists, all under one roof.
Absolutely.
So check it out, pdlabsrx.com, or our phone number is 888-909-0110 for a toll-free number.
And you can find all this information if you go to my site as well. Ray is there and all of that information. So drpbetterlife.com, where you can find the YouTube and watch us do this show. But you can also go to all the podcast platforms for iTunes, Spotify. And of course, we are on the radio here in San Antonio, Sundays at 4 on AM 930. So please listen to us. And we are going to take a very short break, come back on the other side and give some more details and studies and information for you. Be right back.
Hi, this is Ray Solano with your Healthy Choices Minute, sponsored by Prescription Dispensing Labs. New research has concluded that implementing dietary changes could prevent gut inflammatory processes involved in some chronic diseases. Modulation of your gut microbes through diets enriched with vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and a higher intake of plant over animal foods has a potential to prevent intestinal inflammatory conditions at the core of many chronic diseases. In short, the foods we eat in our dietary patterns have a major influence on our immune system that can cause many conditions we are suffering from today. Solution: try our OptiMeal shake. Our team has developed the best tasting, healthiest shake you've ever experienced to control blood sugar and to improve your gut. Start your day today with a healthy choice. Call us today at 888-909-0110 for a free sample of the OptiMeal shake. 888-909-0110. Remember, you have a choice in healthcare.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. I am with Ray Solano from Cedar Park, Texas. He is head of PD Labs, which has been my favorite compounding pharmacy and should be yours too. These guys, he was just mentioning giving out the phone number that when you call, there's an actual live person that answers. Who does that anymore? So that's why I love these guys so much. But we were talking a little bit about gut health and food allergies and things like that, talking a little bit about taking care of yourself. And I know you've got something that you want to discuss, but I'll tell you, when you talk about the eating right and whatnot, saying, it doesn't cost you anything is absolutely true. But there are some ways that you can do things. And I know a lot of patients will say that this supplement, this protein shake, this trainer that I want to use, all of that all the foods, the organics are so expensive. And, I tell patients all the time, if you stop spending on the things that are not good for you, you will spend so much money every day, every week, every month, every year on the things that are so terrible for you. Yeah, they're good and they're fun, but they're so terrible for you. And you just will spend easily. Money just goes down the drain, no problem. But when it comes to taking care of yourself, I can't afford that. You give up those habits that you're spending a lot of money on and turn it toward taking care of yourself. You'll find you'll actually have a lot more money at the end of the month.
Right.
But thank goodness you've got something that you can offer us today for a special on taking care of your health, losing weight. I use this. What you got?
Well, you're right. Processed foods are expensive.
Yeah.
And it's convenience, but, cooking foods, making soups from scratch is something the simplest things. It's not.
It really is.
It's what some people say it's not poverty food. It just makes it better for your body because they do like simple foods, simple ingredients that have life to them.
Right.
And so some of the things to get started with is how do you know if you feel better? So we worked with a leading manufacturer, put together a protein medical food shake that has all the anti-inflammatory ingredients in it, the things that support the liver. They also support, good gut health,
yes,
but also your blood sugar control.
Right.
So it's called OptiMeal support that has no sugar in it. It's gluten-free. It also doesn't have any stevia in it because sometimes stevia raises blood sugars, believe it or not. And it tastes good. That's what I said. It tastes good.
Yes.
It's a chocolate flavor,
yes,
and you can add your favorite nut milk to it. You can add even water if you wanted to. You can use your almond milk. All the ones as choices. You can spike it with a little coffee if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. But it's something that gets you started. It's the first thing. A lot of people don't even eat anything, and then they ravenly eat any fast food.
Exactly.
So this is a good way to start, or a snack in the middle of the day. And we're running a 2-for-1 special. We do this every year. We just want people just to start.
Right.
Do something. You can use it for kids. You can use it for seniors. But please, don't use the Boost or many of these other products that are considered possible alternatives of people. It's just awful what's out there. So it's OptiMeal 2-for-1 special. Check out our website, pdlabsrx.com, or just call us at 512-219-0724. We got lots of health tips for you, and they're all free.
So yes, for the OptiMeal and something easy for you to drink and shoot out the door and use at breakfast or in the middle of lunch, you can go to pdlabsrx.com, or you can go to drpbetterlife.com and find all of this information on Ray and PD Labs and how to find out more about Metabolic Code and all of the health tips, the Healthy Choices Network that they have, which we air on. I love. Thank you so much for that. And then we will also have Ray on again in a couple of weeks for more great tips and information. So drpbetterlife.com. Ray, thank you. And you guys all have a great week. Thank you very much.